Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wrestling Tonight. This is Hollywood McConnelly with that double biceps. It's in the contract. It's a legal requirement every single time we appear on camera. The man to my left could be to your right, depending on what's under the screen you're looking at. It is the co-host, the co-founder, the co-breather of air, the co-wearer of clothes in this very room. It is none other than the master of disaster, the king of steam, the count of Monte Cristo. It is Thunderlips, the ultimate male. It is your friend and mine. It is the winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year award. The illustrious award held by the illustrious man with the illustrious beard. It is none other than Dave Stockbridge.
Thank you very much. I was awarded the Japanese Dave Stockbridge of the Year award, which comes in the form of 2-minute noodles. So there you have it. Thank you very much for that very warm welcome. As always, Hollywood Matt Connelly, it's a joy to be here on this most auspicious of occasions. Of course, we are here for the premiere of Last Man Standing, which has been a little project of ours over recent months. It's an idea that germinated nearly 2 years ago for us when we ran our very first event. And since then, we've been iterating and working on the overall concept in order to bring it to this final iteration that you will soon see before you. We believe that this is the most watchable version of the sport. In fact, the version of the sport that will catapult the sport's popularity into the mainstream. We really ardently believe that as much as super matches are great fun and tournaments really do unearth some spectacular talent, it's unfortunate, but those versions of the sport aren't particularly watchable. The tournament style of event can sometimes drag on for hours, and in some cases the super matches can as well. And the stop-start nature of the action in super matches really makes it very, very difficult to make viable for a non-arm wrestling TV audience. And so what you're about to see in front of you is what Matt and I have been working on since day one, which is creating a platform that takes arm wrestling into the mainstream, that provides a platform for arm wrestlers at all levels to springboard from and to make a living out of this great sport of ours.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I really like about it is that with a tournament format, you lose twice, that's it, you're out. You're done for the day. And you could go up against the first number one seed in your first match, and then you might get the number two guy like in the second, and you're done. Like, that was it. Thanks for coming. Thanks for paying your money, flying all the way here or traveling or whatever. Whereas Last Man Standing, it doesn't matter how many times you lose, you're still in it and you still have a chance to win the money at the end.
And we also found that athletes were forced to use more than what might be their signature moves. So we had Josh Barker, for instance, who displayed a surprising array of skills on the table on the day. Although he's known for his press, there were many occasions where you saw him move to a top roll, and you really got to see a more well-rounded version of Josh Barker in this format of event. And I'd say the same is true of Ryan Bowen. I mean, we know that he's got a lot of clubs in the bag, but we really got to see him pull those clubs out at critical moments when he was either coming up against a certain opponent. He would make those adjustments in terms of how he was going to approach that particular match. And on other occasions, it might be just because his pronator might have been really tired and he had to sink into a particular position just in order to get through that opponent and get that extra pin and get those points on the board. So, Hollywood Matt Connelly, would you like to step the arm wrestling world through some of the rules that do set this apart? For instance, how long does this event go for?
It is a 60 minute, I was going to say 60 hour. No, it's a 60-minute non-stop
arm wrestling marathon.
That's right. We're just talking about how the tournament's run for too long, and then we're like, it's 60 hours long. You'll love it.
It's a 5-day event.
That's right. So it's a 60-minute winner stays on event, and it's fast-paced. So some of the rules that we put in place to keep the action flowing, the grip, there was no setup with the grip. It was close your thumbs, close your hands, go. And we wanted it to be that way because we wanted it to be speedy. You walk up to the table, you grab hands, and you go, and then you get a winner. Any foul is a loss. Like, if you foul at all, okay, that's it. You're out. Next person. The idea is next person. Because we had four guys in there that were at the top of the food chain, and for them to have to work and get tired, they needed to have a lot of matches, and that's why we come up with that rule where it's grip and go. So you're straight away into it. Next person, if we saw like Ryan get 4 wins fairly comfortably straight away, but then he lost, and I'm not trying to spoil the event here, but um, seeing the difference in the guys at the elite level at the start of the event compared to the halfway mark and from there on, because when I was putting all the score tallies and stuff together, I kept a score of like at 10 minutes, at 20 minutes, at 30 minutes, and you could see the elite guys were way out in front at the start, and then it started to change, and then all these guys who are on nothing started climbing up, and then it was like, oh, okay, so yeah.
And it is interesting because you do have a few of those, what you might call the second tier guys, who kind of level up at around that halfway mark in terms of how many pins that they're racking up. And so you start to, there is an interesting dynamic. So just for those people at home that are a little bit curious, we really had three grades of athletes that were registered into the event. So we had our elite guys, so Mario Tambakis, who's ranked number one in the country going into this event, Ryan Bowen, who we all know, and Matarungi Hedda Morris, who is New Zealand's top guy. We also
Brett Coots.
Brett Coots, of course, sorry, and Brett Coots, who is our AWE triple champion. And then sitting in behind there, we had a second tier of athletes. So your Josh Barkers, who's been the king at 70 kilos, but I mean, you might say 70. You'll see how Josh Barker plays out here at 70 kilos. It's very, very interesting. Taryn Broad, who's been knocking at the door of the top 10 supers in the country, and yet he's only 90 kilos himself, and a competitor in our middleweight champion. As a matter of fact, would have been the favourite going into that middleweight title. So you had a second tier of athlete that was really solid. Tyler Harrison, you'd also slot comfortably into that grouping. And then you had some club competitors in behind there as well. And so what you're seeing is a format of the sport where literally anyone, regardless of their skill set, can be the last man standing. So there are two prizes, and in this case, there are two cash prizes. Now, the prize for most pins, now that prize was $5,000, and the prize for last man on the table was half that at $2,500. But that was enough of an incentive for all of the guys, the second and the third tier guys, to keep pushing through, even though at one point it looked like there was going to be an obvious winner. So now, having also said that, that athlete who looked like being our obvious winner could have easily got injured at any point in time. We saw that with Brett Coots very, very early on. It would have only taken a tear, a niggle, a strain, something to hobble that athlete that was in the lead. And then all of a sudden we're back to the peloton. And there were 3 or 4 athletes that would have then been in with a very, very strong chance of having most pins and walking away with that $5,000. So that's where you see an injured Mario Tambakis cradling a shoulder injury that he sustained very early on, pushing through to the end because he knew that he was going to be a chance of 1 or 2 prizes depending on how things fared over that 60 minutes of competition.
Absolutely. We'll just quickly say hello to everyone in the chat here who's jumping in. We've got Lucky from the Lucky Ones podcast. She was counting down. She was very excited. I think she's very excited to see the event, which will be in about 20 minutes' time. And I've put the link up here in the comments as well, so you can find that. It's on the AWE YouTube channel. We've got Taryn Broad, who was part of the event. He says he can't wait for the official footage. It looks great. You'll be very happy with it. We've got the wonderful Hillary Daniels, who helped us tremendously with all the graphic stuff and the video editing, and is just a very, very valuable member of the AWE team. And we've got Cody Sluggett in from the Through the Fingers podcast. He has donated a super chat, $2 Canadian. He says, "Hey, boys are super excited. We are very excited to show off the event. I've been looking at this event for like 6 days in a row, like 10 hours a day, like just yeah. So it would be nice to sit back and just watch it all in one go and not have to be like, oh, I need to change this, I need to change that. And I'm sure I'm gonna see some mistakes I've made. I'm like, yeah.
You'll hear some throughout the course of the event. You'll know exactly what that means.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was fun. I mean, the first time we ran this was literally, I mean, about 2 years ago, and I enjoyed the event so much. We had Jake Ward come over and do commentary with us. Las Porta, who's one of the local club guys here, he ended up winning the most pins and the last man standing. So he claimed both the prizes together. But it was such a fun format, and we saw so many matches. It was like, I'd love to do that again. And then we were able to get some of the best guys around the Southern Hemisphere to come and compete with us, as well as a lot of very, very good pullers locally. And so what we ended up with was 113 matches in 60 minutes. So 113 matches of high quality guys going against each other.
Yeah, it is a concept, and I noticed that Robert Baxter mentioned in a podcast recently that he'd come up with a similar idea a couple of months ago. But really, you can jump online, you can have a quick look, you can see a version of this from a couple of years ago. So really being the precursor, and it was an idea that had been bubbling along in the back of our minds as I said earlier, as we've been trying to work through how it is that we can take arm wrestling to the masses. How can we engage people into this sport from a spectator's perspective in the room, from a watcher's perspective online or on TV, from a sponsor's perspective, from a promoter's perspective, from all of the angles, and importantly, how can we create a version of the sport where the athletes have a lot of fun? Now, one of the interesting things is, you watch this event and you might think, well, why would these top tier guys put themselves in a position where they might lose to a club athlete, for instance? And well, because it's fun, and that's at the essence of our sport. You're jumping on the table. It's not all about, like, everybody has that guy in their club that has to win the practice pool every time. And are they the most popular guy in the club? The reality is that arm wrestling is meant to be fun. It's meant to be an opportunity for people to come together. And really, although we didn't have any women in this event, there's every chance that you could have had some of the ladies in this event and getting some pins towards the end as well. There's a great leveling to this, a democratization of the sport that occurs within this style of event that I think is going to prove to be a winning combination for all of the stakeholders in the sport. We're really going to be encouraging. We've already, and I think we can already announce that there's last man standings that'll be popping up throughout the world. Stay tuned. We can already announce that Last Man Standing New Zealand is go. There'll be a Pacific Last Man Standing as well. And we're in talks across the world right now. And what we would love to see is there will be, and we can announce this, a Last Man Standing in the world event. Who will be the last man standing in the world? And the thing is, the last man standing isn't the guy that gets the most pins. It's the guy that's on the table at the end. So it's not it's an interesting format because the man that gets the title isn't the man that actually wins the big cash prize. It's the man or the woman who is on the right side of the table, on the winner's side of the table at the end of the event. And that could be anyone. That could be any club athlete from around the world. That could be your 50-kilo guy in the club that just has that wicked press, who comes through in those final moments and walks away with the title last man standing in the world. I mean, this is super exciting, and we cannot wait. We cannot wait to show you the format. And what I will also say is, I do believe that although this is not a prerequisite for the last man standing qualifiers around the world, but the production values of this particular event are right up there in terms of the best in the world. And to think that we did this on a shoestring budget, and we're just a couple of knock around guys, to have come up with this is something we're very, very proud of.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. We have to acknowledge Tyler Ted Manson here, who's jumped in with a super chat. He says, with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much for that,
Oh,
Tyler.
wow.
Yeah, he says, it was fun pulling in the event as an amateur with no ready go experience. You guys have done a fantastic job. Well, Tyler actually performed really well throughout the event, even though, maybe didn't win a lot of matches, but I was very, very impressed with his skill set, with his ability to transition to presses. I'm like, when did you learn all this stuff? Like, last time you came down.
Tyler was a last minute entrant as
Yes.
well. Like, it was like a bit of a flippant, oh yeah, I'll just do it anyway, and had some great moments in that event.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's everyone that competed got at least one pin, it just shows you that anyone is viable to win that last man standing prize.
Now, some people might also ask why it is that we've post-produced this and not just done it as a live. And in one case, that's because we do want to produce a really high quality. We feel like the AWE brand is becoming increasingly synonymous with high production values, and we do have limited resources, so we don't have a huge team of people and cameramen and behind the scenes editors and all of that type of thing. So for us to be able to release this in a way that we feel is respectful for our athletes and something that they can show their friends, maybe the sport that they can feel really proud to put in front of anyone. That's something that we wanted to do. The other thing is that we're seeking to create a highly watchable version of sport for the mainstream, which means for TV and having those production values as well. And so that is why there has been a little bit of a lag between the event actually happening and going on the day. Also, this is just Matt and I, so for us to commentate, do the behind the scenes, direct, manage the event, and a new style of event which none of the athletes have competed in before as well. Direct the referees and to basically have our hands all over the event. It's just like a logistical impossibility for us to do all of those things in real time. So we took the view that we wanted to have a product that we could stand by, and that would stand the test of time, and that wouldn't be diminished by, say, a poorer quality version. And so we chose not to rush it and to take our time. Not that we really took our time. I think we forced this through as quickly as we could. We were champing at the bit to share it with the world, especially as word was leaking out to our friends in the arm wrestling world about it, and people are asking so many questions like, we'll show you soon, we'll show you soon. We want to get it out there too.
Yes, that was driving my sitting. I was literally sitting in this chair on this PC for like 10 hours straight every day, just changing, putting graphic here, resize that. There. I was like, oh man, because I just wanted to get it done. I wanted to be able to show it to everyone, and I'm pretty sure that everyone will be very pleased with the results, as we are as well.
Yeah, we want to thank Paris and the team as well at Australian Broadcasting Group for their work in filming it on the day with us as well. They were fantastic to work with. We want to thank our sponsors, the Raw Store. You can head over to therawstore.com.au and place an order. They can deliver around the world to you as well. Put in the code word AWE and you'll get yourself a 20% discount, and some great products. If you're wondering why it is that Matt and I just look so good for men of our age, well, you can head over to Raw Store and find out. So we want to thank Nick and the team for their wonderful support. We'd also like to thank Greenlight Go. Stay tuned. That app will be dropping sometime very, very soon. It's an AI-led real estate business and real agents and auctioneers who've been with us since the start. So I want to give a big shout out to the whole team there at Real Agents and Auctioneers that have supported us from the very start, and who continue to.
Is that you shouting at yourself? I'd like to say thank you to myself for all the support I've given myself.
Me.
That's fantastic. We've got about 10 minutes to go. Let me have a look here. What's the timer say? 8 minutes. We are premiering the event. So if you haven't already, go to the AWE YouTube channel and click on that video. Get it ready so that you won't miss out on this premiere. We could all watch it together. They have this function on YouTube where you can premiere the video and then they have a live chat and everyone can chat about the event as it's playing out. So, yeah, it's sort of like watching it live in a way.
Yeah, we also want to thank some of the arm wrestling promoters and those guys that are running tournaments and competitions around the world that have reached out to us in recent days who had questions about Last Man Standing, and we are very, very keen to see this style of event and this concept work its way around the world. As I mentioned before, we've got Last Man Standing in the world coming up. We want to see qualifiers taking place all around the world, and for as many people that want to be involved, we'd love to see them. And it's a great pathway for, for all athletes, but a great opportunity for club athletes to grip up with some of the best guys in their region and even around the world. So you're definitely going to see those guys on the table as well. Really good opportunity for those guys that may be knocking on the door of say mainstream arm wrestling consciousness, who haven't quite broken through yet, or who are developing their social media profiles and are looking for an opportunity to break through. One of the things that we've been very fortunate with at AWE, and what we expect Last Man Standing will do as well, is break through some names from obscurity and into superstardom, like Rico Ballman is a great example, for instance, of that, where just a breakthrough moment is enough. And I think in this event, actually, it'd be very, very interesting. I mean, people might be a little more familiar with Taron Broad because he's been a competitor at several AWE events already, and he's been a bit of a name amongst the community here in Australia for a while. But there is a new name in this event, as well as Tyler Harrison. But there's another name in this event that I think will all of a sudden be on the lips of arm wrestling fans around the world, and it's young Danny Wojcik. Now, he's just turned 19 years of age, and so it's a bit of a Rickard Ballman story. This kid is strong. He is no joke, and you're going to see some very interesting early stoppages and some very you'll see his name rise in the tally as the event goes forth, because his never say die attitude on the table meant that he got pins where others just wouldn't have. And maybe that's the hubris of youth of pushing through when maybe a wiser mind might have just let go and lived to fight another day. But he is a phenomenon, this young man, and so again, it's a great platform, and that's been our whole mission from day one, is to create a platform so our athletes can go pro, and we really want to see this sport just go pro. And at the moment, there's very few opportunities for that, and we do feel like this is just a way for athletes to, one, have fun, two, break through, and three, do compete in a way that's not going to hurt their ability to compete at a super match format, in other promotions, for instance. And I think that's a really important point. My fear with arm wrestling a little bit is that over time it might become more like boxing, where the athletes might be selective in who it is that they might want to, like, for instance, after today, there might be a lot of guys that are going to sidestep Danny Wojcik. And so, I'd really like to been an AWE super match, but not against that kid, for instance. And there might be some established names that might be thinking that after this as well. So, the reality is that none of the athletes, none of the top tier guys walked away from this event feeling like this was going to ever hurt their chances of performing on East versus West or any other promotion that might be around the world. This was great fun for them. It tested them in ways that perhaps they wouldn't otherwise be tested. Ryan Bowen has been really reporting to people in podcasts since the event how much this was really his favorite format of event, because as an arm wrestler he got to basically pull out all the tricks and to really discover the levels within himself as an arm wrestler, and but in a fun way that meant that it wasn't going to impact his opportunities elsewhere and moving forward. He can continue to talk about the next super match and the next thing, regardless of what his placing might have been in the event.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things that I really enjoyed is it does take away that fear of losing, because it's like everyone loses in this event. You get beaten, you get tired. Even if you start out, you might get 30, 40 pins. You'll get tired and you'll get beaten. But it doesn't mean that if you're in a super match format, that it would have any bearing on that, because obviously, let's say you lose to one of the guys who's relatively new just because you're absolutely exhausted. It doesn't mean that in a super match format that you wouldn't be the winner. It does remove, because I've had so many times when people will say, well, who's attending the event or who else is competing, and then you'll say someone and they're like, I'm not going then. I'm not going to bother. And it's like, well, why not? Like, they go, I'll just get beaten. It's like, yeah, in the tournament format, that makes sense, because if you've only got 2 goes at it and you're mid-tier and you get a top tier guy first, now you're under 1 go, you might win 1 match and then you're out. Like, whereas here, I think everyone had it. 113 matches, so it was 1.8 matches a minute. So it was just like match after match after match. So yeah, it doesn't matter if you go up and lose 50, 60 times, you can win 1 time and get the money.
2 interesting bits of feedback that came from the event was one from athletes that were in the room that then at the end of the event wished they'd competed.
Yes.
Saw the event, went, if I thought it was going to be like that, I would have just jumped on. I would have just done it. And that came from male and female competitors, by the way. So really interesting that we had and athletes at different levels, by the way, just say that. And the other thing is that we had a lady in the room in her 70s who came along only because her grandson is a fan of Matarungi, and his dad's from the Pacific Islands. He sees the big New Zealander as a role model and follows him on Instagram and really wanted to meet him, so was being kind of dragged along to the event, and then she brought her daughter along as well, who would be in her 40s, I would say, and not sports fans, not arm wrestling fans, apart from young Kane, and he'd never actually seen an arm wrestling event live either. So he's come along, brought mum, brought the grandmother, and they absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Had no prior experience with arm wrestling, but walked away arm wrestling fans. And for me, that was the market research. That's what this event was all about. So,
yeah, it is so good to hear people saying, "Oh man, I love the event so much. I would have loved to have competed. I should have competed." And it's like, yes, you should have competed, because it would. As I said, it doesn't matter if you lose. You lose 100 times, you still get an opportunity to win the money. And yeah, taking away, it's the Drew here. He's put a comment and says, "Not worried about losing 2 times and you're done" is so awesome. And it would. I mean, it takes that pressure off. You can go and know that you're going to get a lot of pulling and a lot of matches, and it doesn't matter how many times you lose.
So, Hollywood Matt Connelly, we're now 30 seconds away from the premiere. So, super, super exciting. We're going to be back after the event to answer all of your questions and to talk a little bit more through what you've just seen, because obviously we don't want to spoil things too much for you at this stage. So, we'll come back after the event and talk a little longer and share a little more. So,
All right.
enjoy.
Thanks, guys.